Hodor and Groot. A fireside encounter. Hodor! Hodor said as he entered the lonely cabin. Hodor had been living all on his own since Prince Bran wed his wife last year. His life was simple now, but Hodor missed the feel of his small friend in the knapsack on his back. Those times had far more terror, but he also felt much less alone. Hodor! 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 Hodor hummed to himself as he fed the fire and began preparing his dinner. Hodor was completely alone in his cabin except for a plant he had found while harvesting one day. Okay, it was less than a plant, more of a stick in a pot. It served Hodor's needs, though. Hodor said to his plant, wondering if it could hear him. The plant said nothing. After a comfortable dinner by the fire, Hodor began to heat a tub of bathwater he had prepared earlier that morning. As the fire warmed the silver tin on the tub, Hodor began to derobe. Slowly, Hodor removed the heavy belt he wore around his waist. Like poop. No, not the place under his gut and right above the thighs, but waist, his poop, letting it drop idly to the floor. Hodor then removed his wool shirt that he wore every day, dropping it on the back of a nearby chair. Hodor's hairy chest and huge arms glistened with sweat from the long day of work. There was a rustle in the room. Hodor! Hodor exclaimed, startled by the noise. He stared around the room, looking for the source of the noise. His plant was still there. Of course it couldn't be that, although Hodor thought it looked a little longer than before. Hodor. Hodor shrugged as he decided it was just the wind. Hodor removed the large black boots, the ones gifted to him by the remaining members of the Stark family at the beginning of the long winter. Finally, Hodor removed his brown pants, large and with the same texture as a burlap sack. Hodor was nude now, his long member swaying as Hodor spun in front of the warm fire. There was another rustle in the room. Hodor! Hodor exclaimed, this time sure he had heard something. He stomped around his small cabin, peering through the windows in his attempt to find the source. Outside the night was clear and dark. The moon shone brightly through the window. Hodor returned to his plant. It definitely seemed longer this time. Hodor scratched his head, then scratched his large, thick penis. As he began to turn, he saw the stick grow at least an inch. It was getting thicker too, just like his penis. Curious, Hodor swung his penis in front of the stick again. It did not grow this time. Hodor? Hodor said to the stick inquisitively. There was no response. Hodor shrugged as he turned back to his bath. Stooping to pick up his boots, Hodor's thick backside spread ever so slightly, exposing his furry pink bung to the stick. There was a crash. The stick exploded into a full 10-foot tall tree. Hodor exclaimed, leaping back. I freaked out my cats. Jesus Christ. It's okay. No, don't mount her. Get off of her. You piece of shit. Stop it. No. Okay, sorry. I'm back. My mom's cat just tried to mount my cat. All right, where was I? I was at some sort of sex scene. Hodor exclaimed, leaping back. The tree was less of a tree than a normal tree. It had two long branches, very much like arms. Instead of brush at the top, the tree had a sort of upside-down stump for a head. Instead of one long trunk, it had two long trunks, ending at what Hodor thought looks remarkably like waist height. He spelled waist right there, you piece of shit. Then Hodor saw the face. There were two eyes. That, normally faces have eyes. Small and sort of black and red mixture. Instead of a normal nose, there were two holes. They reminded Hodor of a frog's nose. The tree's mouth was wide and flat, stretching from one end of the tree to the other, large and flat. Hodor! Hodor demanded. I am Groot. Groot responded. Hodor! Hodor exclaimed in surprise and confusion. Suddenly Hodor realized how naked he was. He grabbed a near towel and covered himself from the waist down. You're spelling waist right every time now. I'm confused. I am Groot. Groot said softly, crossing the room and placing one arm on Hodor's shoulder. Groot's other hand went down to the towel on Hodor's hip. I am Groot. Groot said as he pulled the towel away. Hodor said, blushing. Taking Hodor into his arms, Groot lifted Hodor and placed him gently into the warm bath. Hodor looked apprehensively at Groot. I am Groot, Groot said, and Hodor felt good about that. Hodor relaxed, comforted by the tone in Groot's voice. Slowly, Groot began to scrub Hodor clean. Taking care to not hurt the large man, Hodor was not used to being small. He felt strangely peaceful about it. Giving in to the impulse, Hodor let out a small moan. Hodor, he said softly. Groot began to scrub lower in the tub. Lightly, Groot's large wooden arms would brush against Hodor's pendulous penis. Groot playfully avoided direct contact. For a time, Hodor looked away, but his cock began to grow. Slowly at first, but as Groot's hand came back up his leg. It could be said that the wood on Groot's arm was not the hardest thing in the tub. I am Groot, Groot commented, smiling softly and looking deep into Hodor's eyes. Hodor said shyly. Groot slowly began to wrap his huge wooden hand around Hodor's swollen cock. Hodor moaned, giving in to his urge. For a time, Groot rubbed the shaft of Hodor's cock, every so often straying to tug at his scrotum. I am Groot, he whispered in Hodor's ear. Hodor responded, nodding. I am Groot, Groot exclaimed, lifting Hodor lightly out of the tub and setting him down on the table. Hodor protested, embarrassed as Groot placed Hodor's feet on Groot's chest. Feed? Okay. Spreading his legs wide, Hodor's tight asshole shined with anticipation in the flickering firelight. With surprising fury, a large wooden cock exploded from just above Groot's legs. I am Groot! Groot exclaimed proudly. Hodor's jaw dropped at the size, wondering what Groot's intentions were with it. Slowly, Groot resumed stroking Hodor's cock, while positioning the head of his gargantuan branch gently up against Hodor's puckered asshole. I am Groot, Groot whispered in Hodor's ear, pulling his head back and staring into Hodor's eyes as he nodded. Hodor protested, begging for a little more time. I am Groot, Groot said, unable to wait any longer and pressing the head of his hard cock into Hodor's dumper. Dumper is not a sexy word for butthole. I don't know why you went with that. Hodor exclaimed in pain, but he did not protest. I am Groot. Groot responded approvingly at the feeling of the tight flesh of Hodor's bunghole. Once again, not another sexy word for butt. As he thrust into Hodor, a light smell of poo, you really don't want to talk about poo when you're describing sex, filled the air from Hodor's virgin asshole. It did not stop Groot. Hodor sang rhythmically as Groot pumped away. Hodor's legs slid around Groot's waist. Once again, back to the poop, pulling Groot in deeper and deeper. I am Groot! I am Groot! I am Groot! Groot bellowed as he climaxed, spraying hot sap deep into Hodor's anus. Groot hunched over Hodor, embracing him as a tear of sap dripped down his eye. Hodor said calmly, wiping away the tear and patting Groot on the back. Hodor said as he pulled the now limp branch from his behind. His asshole was red and sap drizzled from it as he stood and hugged Groot. I am Groot, Groot said. Hodor agreed. They laid in Hodor's bed until they fell asleep in each other's arms. Thank you for watching. Please check out my other videos. They're also things. And if you want to watch a video where I just say I am Groot for about 15 minutes, click them in the top right corner. If you want to watch a video that has nothing to do with this video whatsoever, and you probably need that right now, click in the bottom left corner. And if you want to buy shirts and shit, click them in the top left corner. All right, get out of here. I gotta go stop my cats from having sex.